Good afternoon and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment for July 13th. My name is Brian and I'm going to be the chair today. First order of business is any pecuniary interest on any of the items today by any members. Take that as a no, and noted that all members are present. First application today is 4.1 application for minor variance A0823 135 McDonald Avenue, Belleville. The owner is Hastings Prince Edward District School Board. And Andrew, your turn.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. So the subject land is on the southeast corner of McDonald Avenue and McDonald Gardens and is currently used for the Queen Elizabeth School. The application requests relief to permit accessory buildings in the front yard for school portables. Right now, the new school is being under construction, so they'll be placed somewhere between the existing school and that future one. Once the new school is completed, they'll be in the front yard, and closer to McDonald Gardens, and why they need zoning relief. The official plan land use designation is community facility, and at this time, no correspondence has been received by staff. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone here from the Board of Education to answer any questions? Okay, do you want to come forward if we have some questions? Okay. You're from ACOM? Okay. Anybody have any questions for this gentleman? Hit the button, okay.
Yeah.
Any questions for this gentleman?
Are these temporary portables, or are they going to be there permanently?
No, they're going to be there.
Oh, you have to turn your...
Oh, I thought I had to hold it. No, they're going to be there permanently.
Is this something that wasn't planned for, or have you always planned on having?
No,
The
it wasn't
portables.
planned for. This change, it actually came during construction.
Okay, and what was the reason for the change?
I guess there was more like students, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there plans for more to come then beyond this?
Not at this time, but there's plans for 5 portables, and at this time there's going to be 2, and then there's going to be 3 in the future.
Okay.
2 and then, okay, sorry. 2 and then 3 later on, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? Okay. Did I read somewhere, maybe I didn't, but are they going to be moved after the school is done to a different location than where they will be put now?
No, what you see on the site plan, if you can bring that up, that's going to be the permanent location.
Okay.
So where it's outlined in red, that's the permanent location.
Oh, in the red, okay, up the on the right, okay. All right. Any other questions? Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to comment on 135 McDonald Avenue? If not, then moved by Jack, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Done, thank you. Our next application is for 4.2 minor variance A923 25 Walbridge Crescent, City of Belleville, Gleaners Food Bank, and the agent is Matthew Brown. And Andrew or Greg?
Thank you. Can you switch the slide there? Thank you. Is that it? Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sorry, bit of a mix-up. So the subject land is on the southeast corner of Waldridge Crescent and Harriet Street and contains a fenced-in compound area containing garden beds and a shed in the north yard. To facilitate the construction of a 13-meter wide growing dome, the application requests to relief to permit accessory building in the front yard and to increase the maximum height of the building. At this time, no correspondence has been received by staff. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so you're from Gleaners? Yes. Do you have any additional comments or anybody have any questions?
No, we just want approval.
Okay. So this is a dome that you're going to use for as a growing vegetables or food in?
Yes. For many years, 2009, we created this garden.
Yep.
And we operated it all summer. But as you know, our hunger count has gone up 50%, and the cost of fruit and vegetables have gone up, a lot. So the growing dome allows us to grow all season for our clients. So that's why we are looking to facilitate more growing time to actually provide the healthy food choices, and as well as healthy diet, because we're going to be introducing kale to their diets as well, and other items. So currently our garden, it's torn apart right now, but we have pamphlets on our past garden. We worked with many schools in the city, both Algonquin Lakeshore School Board as well as the Hastings County School Board. They come in the garden, they do learning features. We work with the Rotary Club for setting the garden in the spring, and a lot of companies like Lowe's have helped us build the garden as it was. So that will continue with the dome. So it will be 100% a community project led by Gleaners Food Bank.
Andrew?
Just one thing to note, it's in my report, Bo, for the sake of the chief building official, you will need a building permit following the appeal period of this application. So we look forward to seeing that building permit come to fruition.
Yeah. Oh, it's completed. We're just waiting for this meeting.
Okay. Any other questions for these?
I think it's great what you guys are doing, so I applaud that. I do want to note, I believe that's for this one, I think I see it in the photos there too, but they have mentioned a concern that there appears to be other accessory buildings already there, like a shipping container and a shed.
Yep, correct.
How large is the shipping container?
I will have to ask Keith that.
I believe it's a 42-foot.
Okay.
42 foot.
And did you have a building permit to put that one in?
That was put in during COVID, before my time, I was off at that time. So I don't believe a building permit was applied for.
Is it temporary or is it meant to be there?
It is temporary, yes.
Because I do know that you're required to have a building permit for a shipping container, and they also have to be 15 meters from property lines.
Okay,
So that it will pose an issue. So I think
Yeah.
that's something you'll have to look into.
There's not a lot of stuff in it right now, so it can go at any time. It's
Okay.
just a phone call away to get it.
I'm noting it because it was noted in the comments.
Okay.
And I want you guys to be aware of it, that they may
Yeah.
be following up and coming to you. The shed, it depends how big the shed is, but you're allowed up to, I think, 160 square feet, right? No, it's changed. They changed it.
10 by 12.
No, I think they changed it. I think it's 160 square feet you're allowed with a building permit now.
yeah, it's 10
Yep.
by 12.
It's 10 by 12 inside.
Oh, it is 10 by 12. Okay, I
Yes.
thought you were trying to say what the
I
max
had
is
to
allowed.
plywood for the bottom.
Okay, so I don't think that one's an issue, but it is
Yeah.
on here, but you will have
Yeah.
to probably address the shipping container.
Okay. So
Are
it's nice.
the shipping container and the shed going to stay?
The shed, we are hoping that we can tightly squeeze it in, but maybe it'll have to go, but the shipping container can go anytime.
Okay, so they're going to be gone when you put the dome up, so I guess that,
Correct, yeah.
yeah,
Can I add one more thing?
Yep, sure.
If you're looking to keep the shipping container, we have had other people come before us, and that would be a committee of adjustment that would allow for the shipping container to stay because it's not within the 15
Mhm.
meters. So that's something to think about too.
Yeah. We thank you, and we would like you to know this is the first growing dome actually being built in Ontario. And we received full funding for the growing dome, and we also received full funding for a staff member and all the inside work for a full year. So
Okay.
we're very excited that we received all the funding.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to comment on 25 Walbridge Crescent?
My microphone died. So I was just thinking, if there is intent to keep the shed, my recommendation is only to referring to the dome.
Okay.
So if we want to, if you would like to retain that, I would suggest to include that shed, and we'll probably need to confirm the dimensions of it with Greg. But if you intend to keep it, you probably should request relief so that it can remain.
Okay.
But yes, about 161 square feet is the current maximum for specifically a shed.
Okay. All right. So is there no one else in the audience who wishes to comment on Walbridge Crescent? And no other questions? Okay. A motion and to include the shed? Okay. Here, second by Joe. All in favor? Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Our next application is for minor variance A 1023, 363 Front Street, City of Belleville, and the owner is Centro Commercial, Inc. Is there anyone here to speak to this, but Andrew first, or Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The application proposes relief to allow for a reduction in required on-site parking. The property, currently the building occupies the entire property, and it is developed with a mixed-use building with ground floor commercial and upper floor residential units. The applicant is looking to renovate the third floor to move it from having 2 apartment units to add a third unit on the third floor. And this complies with the requirements of the bylaw, except for the fact that no additional parking can be provided on site to accommodate this use. Hence the request for relief from the parking provisions. This relief would also be subject to payment of cash in lieu of parking at the rate set out by council.
Thank you. So you, sir, are from Central Commercial? And you are? Okay. There, okay. Do you
Yes,
have any additional comments?
There's an existing building permit for the development of this property already. The building permit was issued, I believe, 2 years back for 5 residential and 1 commercial. So like my friend had mentioned, our request is just humbly to amend the third floor to include 1 extra apartment and an amendment to the already existing building permit.
But today, we're just dealing with the parking, correct? That's correct, yeah.
Correct,
Just
yeah.
a-
So as stated, there's no on-site parking at all. The building occupies the entire
Okay.
footprint of the available lot, so we're kind of stuck.
Can't create parking if there's nothing there.
That's correct.
Yeah. Is, any questions, this gentleman? Anyone else in the audience wishes to comment on 363 Front Street? If not, then motion, Robert L., seconded by Robert K. All in favor? Thank you. Done. Okay, our next application. Application
Thank you.
for consent, B 1223, B 1323, 667C Dundas Street East, the City of Belleville. The owner is Mackenzie Cairns. And Andrew?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. So the subject land is south of Dundas Street East, east of Hague Road, west of Old Kingston Road, and also doesn't have direct frontage on Dundas Street East. It's accessed through an easement over 667B Dundas Street East and 665 Dundas Street. There are 2 consent applications here. One of them is to a lot addition for the north side of the property onto an abutting one in preparation for a future laneway and servicing. The other is to extend an existing easement, and it's shown on the right image there. Basically, it's coming down, it curves down more south than is intended, and it's just an inconvenience, and this is just remedying the existing easement to be more reflective of the future laneway, to be parallel with it. At this time, no correspondence have been received by staff. Back to you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here, Mackenzie, Karen, or anybody to comment? I guess not. Any questions, concerns by anyone?
The only thing is that I drove out there and it isn't as shown on the right-hand side. It shows the original road cutting down through the lot. The actual highway is north of that.
Any?
Yeah, that's why we have advised the owner to pursue getting appropriate easement, because that's what's reflected in the. Exactly.
Okay, if there's no other comments, questions, a motion? Jack? Robert Dow? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, that concludes that part of our meeting. The next item on the agenda is a confirmation of the minutes of a regular meeting of June 15th, 2023. Any questions, comments? Motion to approve? Approve. Shaw, seconded by Robert Dow. All in favor? Done. Any correspondence? No? Okay, we do have, Robert wishes to make a comment.
Two things, actually.
Okay?
The first, I actually want to ask Greg. We've brought up before, over a year ago, about relief from the parking requirement. Has that not gone anywhere?
I believe it was referred to corporate services for consideration. I haven't gotten anything back on it in terms of where that's going. I know it's something that they have been discussing with the BIA and different downtown stakeholders, but I haven't heard the
Because it keeps coming up with all these downtown buildings, right?
Mhm.
And virtually none of them have parking.
Mhm.
Should we put forth a request for a follow-up?
Committee could do that.
You can-
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah. Do we just reflect that in the minutes?
yeah, we'll reflect that in minutes. I don't think we need a
Okay.
motion to do that, just to follow up on that previous item. Okay?
All right, and then the other new business is I've really enjoyed doing this for 5 years, but I have to resign because I'm moving to Hamilton. So I will no longer be a Belleville resident. So, very sorry, guys. I really enjoyed it. I wish I was able to ride my tenure out here, but I do have to. I'll send an official letter, but I do have to resign.
Yeah, if you send something to Greg or to the clerk, I guess, and then we will deal with the vice chair item on our agenda for next meeting.
Well, you would do it at the next property standards meeting. Oh, that's vice chair, but then I'm also chair.
Yeah, but we'll have to do that at the other one. But we'll do with the Committee of Adjustment at our August meeting, and then the next time we have a property standards meeting, we'll deal with that at that time. So, okay, well, thank you for all your work over 5 years.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, it's 5 years is short. I've been here for a few more than that.
Are you guys gonna be looking to fill the seat then? Like, is that something you put a call out to?
Well, we'll have to talk to Greg. Once you send that in, then I'm sure Greg can follow up for us to see whether they will be adding another member to the committee, which probably is a good idea, so we make sure we have enough for a quorum from time to time. Okay, and we can maybe get an update on that at our next meeting then. Okay, thank you. Our next meeting is August the 17th, and any other comments, questions, concerns by anyone? If not, then we have an adjournment by Robert Dow. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jack's off golfing.